Let's jump right in. Welcome to this explainer. If you've ever wondered why some software solutions just become this absolute daily obsession for millions of people, while others completely disappear into the void, even with massive budgets behind them, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to take a journey through our source material to uncover the real secrets of how the most successful tech companies build things that people actually want to buy.
We're looking at insights from a guide that is basically considered the Bible of the tech industry, Marty Cagan's Inspired. And as we go through this, you'll see exactly why it has that reputation. It exposes this huge, honestly kind of uncomfortable gap between how everyday companies build their products and how top-tier giants, think Apple, Google, Netflix, actually operate. And it's uncomfortable because a lot of companies are literally burning millions of dollars doing it completely wrong. Today, we're breaking down the exact mindset, structure, and processes those elite companies use to create products customers absolutely love.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with the root of failure, then face 2 inconvenient product truths. Move on to continuous discovery and delivery, look at why we need missionaries over mercenaries, and finally, break down the product manager role.
All right, Section 1, the root of failure and why efforts fail.
To understand the solution, we've got to confront the problem. Take a look at this outdated waterfall process. Notice how it's just a visual chain? Everything starts with ideas that get bundled into a business case, thrown onto a roadmap, passed down as requirements, designed, built, tested, and eventually deployed. It's literally like an old factory assembly line. Ideas just move blindly down this chain. But here's the fatal flaw with this whole shebang. All the risk of failure is pushed to the very end. You're spending all your time burning through engineering resources and money way before you even know if a customer actually wants the thing.
It really boils down to this harsh reality. It doesn't matter how good your engineering team is if they're not given something worthwhile to build. The author actually learned this the hard way. Back in the mid-'80s, he spent 18 grueling months at HP working massive overtime to build this incredible AI workstation. And yeah, building AI in the '80s, you can imagine the heavy lifting. They had multiple patents, hit exacting quality standards, trained the whole global sales force, got amazing press, and when they launched, 0 customers bought it. 0. The best engineers in the world simply cannot save a product that nobody wants.
That painful HP story leads us right into Section 2, 2 inconvenient product truths. So why does that old waterfall roadmap fail in the real world? Well, because you can't plan a perfect roadmap up front when you're facing 2 very inconvenient truths. Number 1, at least half of all your product ideas are just going to fail. Customers might not care, the interface might be too confusing, or it might just be way too expensive to build. Number 2, even your winning ideas, the ones that actually have potential, they're going to take several iterations to deliver real business value. In the industry, we call this time to money. You absolutely cannot escape these 2 truths.
This means we have to stop treating development like a factory focused purely on project output. Just shipping features to say we did it. In that old model, design is treated like putting lipstick on a pig right at the end, and engineers are brought in way too late. The modern shift, it's all about product outcomes. It's not about launching a feature, it's about hitting a bullseye on a core business problem and actually changing user behavior for the better.
Moving on to Section 3, continuous discovery and delivery.
Now that we know the old way is broken, how do top-tier tech companies actually do it? Well, instead of waiting until launch to see if an idea flops, modern teams tackle the massive risks up front before they write a single line of production code. They test for 4 crucial things. First, value. Will customers actually buy it? Second, usability. Can they figure out how to use it? Third, feasibility. Can our engineers actually build this right now? And fourth, business viability. Does this fit within our sales, legal, and financial constraints? Looking at this diagram, you can see how this creates a totally new reality. We've got continuous discovery and delivery running in parallel, side by side. We aren't doing months of discovery and tossing it over a wall to developers anymore. No way. The product manager and designer are collaborating with engineers every single day to figure out what to build, while the engineers are simultaneously delivering the actual robust product. It's a continuous, living cycle. And the secret to moving this fast is actually pretty wild. Strong teams will run 10 to 20 cheap prototype experiments in a single week. Remember, a prototype is not a product. It's fast, it's cheap, and it's used entirely for learning. Meanwhile, your actual products are the rock-solid, scalable releases that your customers can rely on. So we use prototypes to learn, and we use products to release. It's a real game changer.
Which brings us to Section 4, missionaries over mercenaries.
Because you've got to wonder who actually executes this high-speed cycle. Well, it is not a temporary project committee that breaks up after 3 months. The modern standard is a durable, flat-structured product team. Usually that's a product manager, a designer, and a handful of engineers co-located and acting like a completely autonomous startup right inside the larger company. They aren't handed a list of features to code, they are given hard business problems to solve and the autonomy to figure it out together.
Venture capitalist John Doerr hit the nail on the head when he said, "We need teams of missionaries, not teams of mercenaries." Mercenaries just clock in, code whatever features they're told to build blindly, and clock out. Missionaries, though, they are true believers. They deeply understand the business context, they actually care about the customer's pain, and they are fully committed to solving the problem. Empowering a durable team is exactly how you create those missionaries.
And finally, Section 5, the product manager role.
This role is the linchpin holding the entire team together. And here is a blunt, honestly kind of brutal truth from our source material. When a product succeeds, it's because everyone on the team did exactly what they needed to do. But when a product fails, it is the product manager's fault. Yep, they take the fall. Why? Because they are the ones specifically accountable for validating those 4 massive risks we talked about earlier. They have to ensure that whatever hits the engineering backlog is actually worth building in the first place. To survive that intense level of accountability, a product manager has to master 4 areas of deep knowledge. You have to know your customers' pain points intimately. You need deep data knowledge, starting your day buried in analytics. You have to understand your deep business constraints, like finance and legal. And finally, deep market and industry knowledge. It's a constant balancing act between qualitative human pain and cold, hard quantitative metrics.
So take a hard look at your own organization today. Ask yourself, are you stuck in a rigid waterfall process, blindly pushing roadmaps down to a disjointed team of mercenaries? Or are you ready to embrace continuous discovery, tackle those massive risks up front, and empower a durable team of missionaries to build things customers actually love? The gap between the absolute best tech companies and everyone else comes down to that single choice. So what will you choose to build? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this gives you a fresh perspective on product creation.